McGregor, Michael Chandler, how would you guys handle that? If you got a magic wand to weigh over this and you can do one thing, that one thing's going to happen, but that one thing has to then drive towards the fight, what would it be? What would you do? It's a colossally confusing situation. Like, if there's ever been a fight that doesn't matter, it's that one. If there's ever been a fight that we've been promised, that we've been looking forward to, that's a big deal, that had the hype, that had the marketing, that had a machine behind it, that you're going to set aside time, it's that one. Everybody wants to see this fight that has absolutely no consequence. Generally, those things don't go together, but you have to understand that part. I don't say that to be rude. I say that because it takes three people to make a fight. You got Conor, you got Chandler, you got the organizers. This fight is about nothing. So that takes an incentive away from the organizers. The one, right, you got three pieces. Make sure you understand that, because you're always going to have a weak link. You need to identify what that link is, and you need to strengthen him. High tide raises all shit. You don't want to go out and bury him. I mean, I'm watching Logan Paul do everything that he can possibly think to do to get Dylan Dennis to not do the fight. Now, we can digress and go in that conversation another time. What I'm sharing is you still got to strengthen if you're going to be partners. If Chandler and McGregor fight, nothing happens to the UFC. Maybe it was a good night. Maybe use it for marketing. Maybe you make a few dollars. But I'm stating the obvious. So when it's so obvious, we don't have to state it. So I'm going to come back to my original premise, which is nothing happens. There's never been a fight that matters less. The rankings committee on Tuesday isn't sitting around going, I gotta have that one come in. DraftKings isn't sitting around going, I gotta draw the line. I gotta see, boy, is that USADA pool? Is that cleared up yet? Like, nothing happens. The rankings don't get affected. The winner of that fight doesn't go into the Hall of Fame because of that fight. The loser of that fight doesn't get cut for losing that fight. The winner of that fight doesn't go on to fight for a title. It would have no consequence at all, to the extent that it doesn't even matter what weight class they fight at. When Conor's out there trolling and saying 185, do it at 185, do it at 8, do it at 5, miss weight, make a weight up. It doesn't make any bit of difference. And that's the bad news. Like, when Conor's coming out and saying, I'll do it at 185 pounds, and people are like retweeting, and you feel the tweets like starting to die. They're starting to get less and less, and they're starting to get smaller and smaller, but it was inconsequential to start with. I'm not looking to be a dick about this. I'm sharing with you. It takes three. Because I feel like somebody here is missing what's going on. So I'm doing the best I can to hold class in session. Takes three. Takes Conor, takes Chandler, takes the UFC. Doesn't affect Conor's life. Like the mortgage and or college tuition or anything that you would want to talk about why a guy would fight is not affected because of this fight at all for McGregor. So how do you incentivize him? How do you make him do it? How do you force him to enter the USADA pool? How do you force that clock to get started? Well, you can have pressure, you can have outside pressures, but that's where you would need number three. You would need number three to come in and see a reason to do it, but it doesn't affect the ranking or anything else. So what is it that you would do if you get one play and it's going to be observed, but that play is to drive you to that fight? What is your one play going to be? And I will tell you, there's nothing about Michael Chandler accepting another fight or going and doing another fight that would affect Conor McGregor. It's been stated that Conor's next fight will be Chandler. Chandler's never said my next fight's going to be Conor. Maybe I'll do a fight, maybe I'll do two. I mean, in the period of time from the time that fight was announced till now, he could have done two fights, and here we are, fresh as the daisy, ready to take on Conor. It wasn't ranking-based. It wasn't title-based. It wasn't related to a draw or the division. It quite literally doesn't even have a weight class. And if you're going to make it a 185, you're going to make it a 155, or just stop. Nobody watches the weigh-ins anyway. Like, that's not a single thing that anybody cares about. It really doesn't matter what division you fight at when you're not a contender's match. So if you're not a contender's match, why make 155 unless you both want to do it? Why make 185? Why make 170? What difference does it make? And there once was a time where it was pretty important that they fought. It was promised to the crowd. It was a giant cherry on top of this beautiful Sunday. But the Ultimate Fighter is behind us. That's done. Those contracts are issued. The trophies are given out. Good men and women at the production team have moved on and they're looking for the next Ultimate Fighter. Like if you couldn't get it done then, when you would actually have an incentive, which is you told everybody this is how we're going to culminate this. If you couldn't do it then and you've turned the page to move on, why would you go back and do it? And I'm just speaking to the third factor, right? You got Conor, you got Chandler, and then you got the UFC. Like, what would the incentive there be? And so you better damn well find one. It's not up to you guys. You had better damn well find a reason for doing this fight. It's about the cash. We all understand that. You can never say it's about the cash. The guy that runs for president wants the power. He can never win a campaign if he comes out and tells you, I'm doing this because I want the power. There's certain things that you have to hide and you have to guise. Can you do it better than the other guy? And the fact that they're moving and jumping weight classes as though it matters. What difference does it make if you fight at 185? What difference does it make if they don't weigh you in? What difference does it make if you fight at heavyweight? What difference does it make what's put down? What difference does it make if you fight at 145 and you come in and you miss weight? There's no scenario out there where there could be anything interesting or compelling or relevant to what weight class they fight at. There's nothing that affects the rankings. There's nothing that the outcome of this match does. Nothing. I mean zero. I don't mean just a little bit. I mean nothing. Conor McGregor's next opponent is going to be Michael Chandler, should Conor McGregor have another opponent. That can be true at the same time that Michael Chandler's next opponent is not going to be Conor McGregor. Both of those statements can be true at the same time. And if one of those guys wants to fight more than the other one does, they need to understand it's not about getting his agreement or my agreement. We've already got that. There's a third factor here. Once upon a time, they were very motivated to make this fight and didn't. Now they're much less motivated to make that fight. But you continue to think they will.